Hi, I'm Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing Live, number 53. Today we're going to talk about understanding your voice will speeds up your progress. So improving your singing faster by understanding your voice. That's the topic today. So I wanted to welcome you, those of you who have joined me a few minutes early today. Let me just start out by asking you, have you ever felt confused about your voice? Have you ever felt confused about your voice? Just give me a quick yes or no, because I have, and I want to share a little bit about that with you today. So, Don Carlson, Don, hi, great to have you. Altu, I haven't seen you for a while. I'm wondering how you were doing over there. Great to see you. Thanks for joining me today. Have any of you ever been confused or felt confused about your voice? Well, we're going to hopefully. Well, I hope I'm not the only one that's been confused about their voice. You know, for me, it was just a mystery. I remember my kids taking voice lessons, and for those of you who don't know, I have 8 children, and several of them took voice lessons. And as parents, we were like confused about what's going on with our kids' voices. And so not just my voice, but my kids' voice too. So Don Carlson says, confused about my voice? Yes, all the time. Isn't it interesting that we would, something that's so personal in our own bodies is confusing? Well, especially as a singer, and I guess I should put it in that context. So Will Gordon says, not confused, just like, why can't I hit this this pattern right? Yeah, so maybe the application of your voice is confusing periodically. Manuel, hi Emmanuel from Serbia. Looks like he's a yes. Friendly Pancake, hey, how you doing? Great to have you with us. Don says he's confused about his typing. So am I. Hi, I'm Chuck Gilmore. It's 2 o'clock. It's time to get started. 2 o'clock in Utah time, top of the hour, wherever you are. I'm Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing Live, and this is broadcast number 53. And today we're going to talk about improving your singing faster by understanding your voice. And I'll ask this question again. I've already asked this of those who were with me in the pre-show. Have you ever been confused about your voice? It's really very, very common. And so Don's got a question here. I'm going to hopefully we'll talk about this topic for a few minutes, and I'll get to some specific questions to help maybe alleviate confusions. But let me just say a quick hi to Brywell, like a car. I really don't know how it works. I just want it to work without issues. Yeah, me too. You know, it's like anything, like my computer. I just want to turn it on and have it work. I don't really care how it works so much. I just want it to work. In terms of really progressing rapidly as a singer or making more rapid progress, I found that it does help to be able to have a bit of understanding about what is going on with my voice. Now, let me just start out with a little bit of a story here. I'm a journal keeper, at least I have been. I've kind of laid off. I don't write quite as much as I used to, but I've got a lot of journal entries, and I like keeping journals. I've got pretty much my whole life in a journal. I started writing a journal when I was 17 years old, and pretty much have everything there. The last 4 or 5 years I haven't been as diligent. I'm going to be trying to get more diligent again because I've missed it. But back in I just want to share a couple things with you because I refer to this mystery. This is April the 11th, 1997. April 11th, 1997. And I just want to I refer to this because it's thoughts live at the time. We were just taking, so several months ago, approximately 5 months ago, we started taking voice lessons from one of Seth Riggs' teachers here in Utah. And we've been taking almost weekly since. And I mentioned a few things. Since that time, several exciting things have happened. And they talk about with my voice, with my kids' voices particularly, because they were in school, they were trying out for choirs, different things like that, plays, and so it was very important for them to get their voices working. And every single one of them were making great progress. And then I said this, it is enough to know that there is something to this method. It is not only getting results pretty fast, it makes sense. It's capable of being communicated. It's not mysterious. And it's interesting that I use that word because it really, singing felt mysterious to me. And it was confusing and I had so many questions. So then I say, continuing on, so what am I doing? Question mark. I'm so excited about this experience. I'm so hopeful about the development of my voice and what is potentially out there for me to do with it. I'm having a resurgence of feelings and emotions that I haven't experienced in years and years. I'm getting thoughts and feelings about what I'm learning and discovering about my voice. And I have questions about what I'm experiencing now and where it will lead me. So I started this little journal and I called it my vocal register. So anyway, I used it and ended up using it for several other things like some acting notes and so forth. But I have a lot of notes here about my early learning in this technique back in the end of the 1990s. So over the years, I've done surveys and asked students, new students, as well as existing students, and probably with hundreds of people responding, what their biggest issue was with their voices. I can't tell you how many times in interviews I've had people say, I don't really know. And then on the surveys that I've sent out, I've had one of the top 5 responses has been, I don't know what my problem is. I just know I need help. That was one statement that was used, and that's really summarized a lot of people's frustration. I don't know what I need. I just know I need help. Now, many of you who have joined me today, and I want to say hi to how to again, ADNYC, Subia Parvin, hi. So many of you are probably more familiar and more intimate with your voice and have a better handle on, it's not quite as mysterious. But many people who want to sing, want to improve, are really stumped. They just don't know what, they don't know why, they don't understand what's not working. But they just know it's not working. So, isn't it exciting to just really understand your voice? You start getting glimpses of, wait a minute, I think I'm getting this. I think I know what makes it tick and what my problem is. And so I want to talk a bit about that today. And behind, I mentioned this, number 1 always seems to be, well, I can't sing high. Number 2 always seems to be really close to the top. Very often to the top is, I really lack confidence in my voice. A large majority, as I mentioned, say I don't really know I just know I need help. So I'm going to talk about 3 things today that will help you understand your voice. And by understanding your voice, we really begin to improve faster. Now, let's talk about 3 things then that's going to really help improve your understanding. And many of you are already on this track. You're already beginning to make strides in really understanding your voice. And so I would say that the first thing that is so helpful to understand is that there is a bridge in the human voice. That bridge represents a passageway from chest voice, the low notes, to the high notes. Well, when I was younger, and actually until I was 43, which now represents quite a bit of youth, many years ago, I just thought that I was born with the limitation of how high I could sing. I could only sing to the E above middle C. After that, I broke, or I would have to yell, but mainly what I just did was stopped. I wouldn't go any further. I thought that that was the ceiling. And so understanding a bridge in your voice, and for the ladies, your bridge occurs at the A above middle C for most of you. Now, everybody, all of you know that that's not the top of your voice, because most of your voice is still, the majority of your voice is still above that. For us guys, the most of our voice is down in our chest. So for the ladies, they pretty well know that, well, I just have this break area and it's kind of like in the middle. And, you know, and so you tend to think that, well, I just have a break. I'm born with a break. Or, you know, I just have to switch into falsetto when I go higher. And so it's confusing unless you know that this is normal. Everybody's got it. Some people are born naturally able to get through that. Others, like me, don't know and don't understand, and they don't have the natural gift of being able to sing through their bridge, or at least pull really well, pull their chest voice really nicely through the bridge. So it's very, very powerful to understand that the E above middle C, the A above middle C for the women, is just a normal situation where you can learn to go through that passageway or that bridge, sometimes called the passaggio, and do it well without having interruption in the tone quality, without a breaking, without straining, without breathiness, without cracking, without flipping in the falsetto. It's very, very powerful to know that it's possible to learn how to do it. Otherwise, you think you just have this inborn limitation and you begin restricting yourself. So it's tremendously liberating to know that you can learn how to do you can learn how to do that and be able to sing into a new area of your voice without straining, cracking, breaking, breathiness, flipping in the falsetto. That's really number one. Number two is it's very, very helpful. And you can imagine how much faster you can progress with your singing if you know that something about the bridge and you know your potential, then what the potential is, you can learn. So number two would be your vocal type. And your vocal type is a description of what you tend to do when you hit the bridge. So if you hit the bridge, now why is that important? Well, hopefully that'll unfold in a second. This is very, very vital. If you understand this about your voice, then you have a tremendous advantage over other people. I see that my CPU on my computer is really heating up here. Let me just take a quick break here and make sure that you're getting everything from me. Are you okay? Is everybody able to, are you staying with me here? Just let me know if the feed's coming through okay. Meanwhile, back to the point. if you understand what you tend to do when you go through, if I start to wobble or if I start to break as I get to the bridge, then I know that my larynx is high. So my larynx is high and I'm pulling my chest voice up. If I tend to strain, I know that I'm pulling my chest voice up. Why is this powerful? Why is this important? Because then if you know what you tend to do in the bridge and what your vocal type is, like whether it's pulled chest, high larynx, or if it's flip falsetto, some people just let go when they get to the bridge and flip in the falsetto. Others go breathy. So there's no bridge. You can't feel it if you go breathy. And others, you know, very, very few, frankly, but others can just naturally mix. You know, so being able to go through that, born that way, no fair. I envy those who can. However, now that I've learned how, it's not a problem for me. So by knowing your vocal type, whether you're pull chest, high larynx, whether you're flip falsetto, whether you're light chest, no chest, or whether you mix, by understanding these things, in other words, what you tend to do when you hit the bridge, then you have this tremendous advantage. First of all, you know there's a bridge. Secondly, you know what you're doing wrong or what you tend to do. There's not necessarily a right or wrong, but you know what's happening. The larynx is coming up. The vocal cords are letting go. They're letting go or cracking, or you're just easing up on the vocal cords so much that there's too much air passing through. So you can begin to establish physically what is going on. Now you can really do something about it. So if the larynx is going up, this brings us to number 3. You can get vocal exercises that will counteract what you tend to do at the bridge. And by counteracting those tendencies, you learn how to do them appropriately or correctly. So let's say if you know about the bridge. Number 2, you know what you tend to do. Let's say it's pull chest, high larynx. Then you learn exercises that will counteract that tendency. What does this do? Well, first of all, now there's no mystery. You know why it's not working. So if you get the exercises to get through the bridge, maybe the bratty neigh exercises, or a dopey gee, 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 gee. So the first thing that happens is you begin to connect it. It doesn't crack or break anymore. You're able to get through the bridge with connected tone quality. So no longer breaking into falsetto. You're no longer straining. You're no longer going breathy. However, those aren't finished tones, so there are other exercises that you begin to do in order to be able to do it in a song, right? Because we've got this too. Well, I just did a connected tone all the way up to the high C and back down again, but we don't have songs with those lyrics, right? So, but once we begin to establish new neuro pathways, new mental pathways, new physical, emotional feeling of getting through the bridge successfully without breaking, cracking, straining, flipping into falsetto or breathiness, once we can do that, now we're on to something. So the exercises start to get the larynx down. No, 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 no. Mum, 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 mum. We start to reinforce those areas of our voice that need reinforcing. Mum, 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 We start building strength, power, and coordination. Mum, 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 mum. Mum, 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 mum. Or no, 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 no. And then once we're able to establish some stability and some balance in those bridges, then we start working on them on all the areas of our voice. Nay, 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 nay. Or gee, 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 gee. No, 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 no. And so we start building the voice, the voice's capability of being able to sing all of these notes, no matter what part of our range we're in, and be able to get through that bridge. So if we didn't know about the bridge, then how do you deal with that break? If you don't know, if you know about the bridge, but you don't have the extra, you don't know what you tend to do when you go to the bridge, so what do you do about it? You know your break, but you don't know what causes it. Well, it's the high larynx or the pulled up chest, or you tend to break or flip, or you go breathy. So understanding your vocal type then leads you to what exercises do I need? Well, because I'm pulled chest high larynx, the thing that's going to really help me the quickest, the fastest, the easiest, the most direct route are exercises for pulled chest high larynx, or exercises for light chest, no chest, or exercises for a flip falsetto. These things then begin to heal the voice so that it's performing correctly. It's performing in a way that I can then begin using it using my voice in songs. So then we begin to apply it. But without this basic information, everything is a mystery. The voice is a mystery. And with these three, maybe I would call it pillars of information: the bridge, the vocal type, what your vocal type is, and then the exercises for each vocal type. Now I am armed with tremendous resources to make significant and rapid and sustained progress to improve as a singer. Anyway, what do you think? Let me just get a couple comments here and say hi to a few others who have joined us here. Dave Mickler, hi Dave. Very nice to have you. We haven't answered any questions yet. Give or lose it. Nice to have you here with us today. I've appreciated your comments on the YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us today on live. Brywall, yeah, so there was some delay, and it's the CPU, I don't know what, I'm not a computer guy. Now it's down to 30%. It was up to 100% for a while there. I don't know what it is, but when that happens, it delays. So hopefully it's getting better. Emmanuel Zekik, great to have you with us today. Hi Cheryl, nice to have you here today. Cheryl Brannigan. Let me see. Here's that one that I had to look at. B something ZZ, B something 1 ZZER 1 2 3. Nice to have you here. Okay, so the voice and the video are not synchronized. I'm guessing probably it's okay now. No need to make a comment on that. Hopefully it's gotten better. Okay. So let me go back and address some of these questions today. And maybe this will help also continually demystify the voice. Because, it's really exciting when you begin to know and understand what's going on, what you tend to do when you hit that break area, which you now understand is a bridge or a passageway from chest to head, and then to get the actual exercises for it. It's just a tremendously liberating feeling. So let me try and address some of these questions here. I'm going to start at the top. I don't have my assistant helping me today, and so I'm going to have to blast through some of these. Oh, Emmanuel, you're from Serbia. Great, I didn't see that. Nice to have you joining us from Serbia. Okay. Don Carlson says he's confused about my voice. Falsetto got pushed too hard, and now all the singing gets too thin from C4 to G4. And that's middle C to the G above middle C. It's distorted and wobbly. What is the solution to this problem? Well, I would want to make sure that when we use the word falsetto, that we're talking about a disconnected tone. That's a disconnected tone. Oh, my assistant is here. I didn't know.
I'm not sure if it's the right place. But...
Thanks. Yeah, this is good. So. If that's what we're talking about, falsetto, then the first thing that I would want to do to begin to correct this, the falsetto usually occurs because the larynx is coming up, and it gets quite thin. Now he says the falsetto got pushed too hard. I don't know. So for me, if we're talking about, now there's head voice. Head voice is different than falsetto. Falsetto is disconnected tone. Head voice is connected tone. Even though it might sound the same or even feel the same sometimes. Is a connected tone. It's still light. It still resonates in my head. At least the last few notes do. Now, if I push that tone too hard, I'm gonna take the other possibility that what we're really talking about is high notes that are pushed too hard, and that would be pulling my chest voice up so high that it should be head voice, but it's just pulled up chest. The word wobbly makes me think that probably there was some pulling going on, because my students who wobble in the bridge wobble there, or it's insecure because the larynx is coming up, or they're pulling their chest voice up, and instead of bridging or mixing in the bridge, they've been singing with their chest voice, and that inevitably begins to cause instability and a wobble. And so then when we try and mix, it's not there. Ma, 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 because we're used to just doing it in chest. Ma, 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 ma. Well, we can't develop stability, and particularly stability with mix, by pulling chest, because the larynx is going up and the weight of the thickness of the chest coordination is coming up, and that just creates too much, creates too much tension, and that's going to cause the wobble. So the solution is, go back. I would do quickly and say, see if you can see what this feels like. Goo, 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 goo. Goo, 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 goo. Goo, 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 goo. Now, if it's pulling chest, it's going to sound like this. Goo, 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 goo. Rather than goo, 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 goo. There's a little bit of that hooty sound if the larynx is staying down. My guess is that probably it feels like the goo, 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 goo. So you want to do those 5-tone exercises on goo, and allow it to go a little, start it out a little bit dopey even, and allow it to go hooty. Goo, 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 goo. Goo, 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 goo. Once that begins to solidify, go all the way down to the G. Start on the F, or start on the C to G again and say, go a little less dopey. Goo, 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 goo. Or try it on the go. Go, 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 go. Go, 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 go. When that begins to solidify, now again, it has to be in a mix. It can't be go, 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 go. You need to go back to goo, 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 goo. Once you're able to make that progression without pulling, or cracking or breaking or flipping, eventually goo, 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 goo. Until you're able to get through that, mum, 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 with that more stable feeling. A lot of time spent on that, but that is a very common situation that many people face. So I wanted to answer that a little more details. Okay. Altu makes a comment that I haven't seen him for a while, so he was saying he's been busy, but he thinks that the voice is the most confusing instrument. And it is confusing, isn't it? And I think it's confusing because, you know, when you get up, if you play the guitar or if you play like an instrument, you can get it out of the closet. Maybe it has to warm up a little bit just to get it warm. Maybe it's cool. But there's a little spider crawling up my, I want to go get it. I'll not do that. So we wake up in the morning and maybe there's a little bit of pollen in the air. So it's a little, or maybe we got a late night, we got to bed late, or we didn't get enough sleep, or maybe we haven't been drinking enough water, or maybe we're just really stressed out, so everything's tight. So we've got all, and then we've got all this psychology going on in our heads, like, you know, well, am I going to be able to really mix today? Am I, you know, what's happening? Am I losing my, you know, the development I was making today seems so bad. You know, we've got all this psychology going. It's just much more complex than picking up 6 strings, tuning them, letting it get room temperature, and then strumming it. That instrument's always going to be pretty consistent. But this instrument, it's a law unto itself. And you never know what it's going to be like from day to day. It's so, that can be, and wait till you get older. It doesn't get any easier. However, you can develop some consistency. Now that spider is like 5 inches from the ceiling. Okay. Don, Carson Boyd. Hi, Carson. I don't think I've said hi. Tuning in from Granada. Wow, Nicaragua. Professional vocalist every weekend. Good for you, man. Admire that. Okay, so Mayapan, hi. I haven't said hi to you. Confused because so far my range has increased, but somehow no vibrato in my voice when I sustain notes. I saw your videos and tried the method you suggested in the video, but still no vibrato. Okay, so vibrato is always a challenge, and it's always a challenge for those of us who've not been born with it. I'm one of those. I wasn't born with vibrato, and my teachers told me when I was in high school, if you're not born with it, you don't have it. They were wrong. So number one is, if you're not born with it and it doesn't happen naturally, you want to get your voice balanced with the exercises that I've been talking about here, so that you're not pulling your chest voice, you're not abusing it in any way. So we want it to get healthy. But you've got to, at first, especially when you're first learning, you have to take it and control it. You have to make it happen. And so and once the vocal cords start to feel that, even though you're making it happen, eventually they will start to adopt it. They'll start to get, they're smart. They have neurons in them. They begin to feel it, and they can take over. So if I were doing it, I would say a great exercise would be she, and I would pulse it a little bit. Oh, my assistant is here. No, it's a, it's just a little tiny spider. Yeah, that one's been there for a while. There's another one coming up and down here somewhere. We're being overrun by spiders. So, she. Now, pretend like you're in a cold environment where the battery has been, it's maybe 0 degrees, and you get up to start the car, and you're starting the car, and it's the battery's running down. So take that. For me, vibrato is more of a pulse. It's easy. It's kind of an easy way to get it started. So we can pulse it to start it. And it can start slow. Like it's really going down. And then speed it up a little bit. She. Start it slow and see if you can get it faster. She. Go up the scale. She. Or you can reverse that and say she. Now, I would recommend revisiting there's 2 videos on my website. I recommend looking at those 2 videos on vibrato again, and just make sure you're not pulling the chest voice, you're not over-tension, there's not over-tension, and maybe try out the she. Maybe this will be of benefit to you. But one of the confusing things is we think that it should just like happen. And I would resist that when I started doing this. I resisted making vibrato because I didn't think that was right. It's okay to manufacture it, make it happen, and eventually the vocal cords will take it on its own. One of the things I have my kids do, I have them do it like this. She, and then stop it and see if you can keep it continuing. She. I've also found this is very helpful. I connect this to my voice. Really try and manage it at first. Hands-on management of the vibrato at first to get it started. So Dave Mickler says, hey brother, what do you feel is the best exercise for getting choked up when singing certain vowels in mixed voice? Not sure what you mean by choked up. I get choked up when if I start crying while I'm singing. That chokes me up, and that means my larynx is going up. My larynx goes through the roof of my mouth when I start crying. It just cuts every bit of sound off. So I have to be very careful about that and not go too far over the line in terms of getting into the emotion of the song. But if I were working with a student and they're this is choked up when singing certain vowels, then I would address each individual vowel. So if I said, if we were saying ah, if I was saying ah goes to Now there's a vowel narrowing chart, and I'm just going to take time right now because many of these questions will be addressed by showing you this. I'm going to go to my website, and I'm going to invite you to watch this, and I'll show you how to search for vowel narrowing and these other questions that have been asked. So if you go to powertosing.com, go to the Knowledge Center in the menu here, click on the Knowledge Center, and if you go to the right-hand column of the Knowledge Center, there's a Knowledge Center categories, okay? Select the categories, and it's a drop-down menu. So there were questions today on vibrato. Come down here to vibrato, and there are 3 videos that are sourced as being addressing vibrato. And so you can watch those videos. If you are searching for, see, what was this topic that I just mentioned? Vowel narrowing. So come down to vowels, okay? Vowel modifying. There are 6 videos here that you can watch about vowel modifying. And one of these, let me just find this one, because this will be the quick answer to your question. I have something called vowel modifying hacks. So go to episode 25, and in this episode, I give the hacks. So if you have a voice, a vowel that sounds like ah, or ah rather, as in bach, you narrow it to buck. And so it goes right through and tells you what to do. There's a PDF that you can download with all of those on it, okay? So every question, if I refer to something then from the Knowledge Center today, you can go to the Knowledge Center, hit this classification categories, Knowledge Center categories, and search for that information. Let me just, while I'm here, show you my home page, because if you don't know your vocal type, take the power test, and then there's a video here you can watch that will load when it's done loading. You can watch the video, explain how to take the power test. You start the recording. You have some accompaniment, piano accompaniment that starts playing, and you sing ah, ah, and that will take you through your bridge, and then answer the questions here about listen to the recording and answer the questions. And submit your answers, and you'll get an email within a minute or so that will tell you what your vocal type is. Or you can send me the recording, and within a day or 2 or 3 days, depending on when you send it to me, right before the weekend's not a good time, because it'll take a longer time, because I try not to do emails on the weekends. Well, particularly on Sundays. So that's how you can discover your vocal type. Now, let me get back to answering more questions. So on vibrato and on vowel modification, go to the Knowledge Center and watch some of those videos. That'll save you a lot of time. You'll be able to get a lot of good information. Friendly pancake. Friendly pancake, you don't understand how to breathe utilizing the assistance of the diaphragm. Do what I just showed you and look the categories, break down categories in the Knowledge Center under breathing. And I think there may even be something under diaphragm, I'm not sure, but breathing or breath control, look that up. There's a number of videos that will help you there. Oh, Bridewell says she has a journal with her voice too. That's cool. You know, I think it's so informative. I detail the nights it works and the nights it doesn't work. What I did and what I ate, everything. Looking for patterns and why it's not working. Awesome. You know, you really start to begin to become intimate with your instrument, and I think it really helps. Really makes a big difference. Altu says the hurdle I face is that one thing that works one day doesn't seem to work the next day. I think it's because the voice is always changing. We face new problems to solve. Yep. I remember going in for voice lessons when I had a different career, and I was working full-time as high stress. I'd come in and I'd be so wound up tight, it would take half the lesson just to get me to relax, to get the tension out of my voice, and you know, and supposedly I knew what I was doing. Okay. A couple other questions here. Exercise. Which exercise is good for finding the right balance of chest and head? At D4, E flat 4, D, E flat, and E, for finding the right balance of chest and head. Well, if you were to ask me for the 3 most challenging notes in the male voice, I would say D, E flat, E. So that's a really, really tough thing, alto. So what I suggest is start above. Start on the G and say no, 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 no. No, 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 no. F. No, 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 no. E. No, 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 no. E flat. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Your goal is to keep the same feeling that you had on the G and bring the same thing down with each one, as I just demonstrated. That's your goal. Once you can do it that way, no, 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 no. Same thing all the way down to no, 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 no. And those of you who follow this, you'll know that if you say no, no, that's not the same as saying no, 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 no. The no has to be in the right place, and then you have to follow the no, right? Put that no right where the no was. If the no opens beyond the no, then it's not going to work. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. So if this were the no has to fit exactly in it. If the no is right here, or like beyond that, then it's going to fall into your mouth. Chest voice is going to be pulled up. That's a great balancing exercise. Start above, start it in your head, and bring it down into the bridge and just below the bridge. Your goal is to maintain the feeling that you had above and bring that down. I cannot build power in my voice. That's the biggest problem with me. Sabia, probably power, development of power is really controlled. You know, I mean, everybody, you can always get louder by pulling your chest voice, right? But I'm sure you're talking about a healthy mix singing and gaining the power in that. And that can take some time. My recommendation to everybody is that if you're trying to develop power in your voice, do the exercises as correctly as possible, the technique as correctly as demonstrated on all these exercises that I have on my website. All of the exercises for pull chest, high larynx, flip, falsetto, light chest, no chest, and mix. If you've bought my course, Singing Higher Than Ever Before, all of those things precisely as demonstrated. I'm getting ready to release a new course, Master Your High Notes. Should be out in the next few weeks. And
This is what's showing. Is that what you want to have shown?
oh, sorry, I'm sorry. You're just looking at my worthy assistant. Just told me you've been staring at my screen the whole time. Sorry. Anyway, pardon me? Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so hi again. Sorry that you were staring at that home page the whole time. At least my voice was coming through. So we're going for balance in the voice, Subia, and also I might recommend you take some lessons. That sometimes can have a real big impact. Don Carlson said I have to yell, nothing else works. Even that doesn't work half the time. So yeah, you know, that's part of the problem. We get impatient and so we just yell it. And if you have a really good voice, you yell really well sometimes, or abuse nicely. But it's still abuse, and it's going to catch up to you. You get a wobble in your voice or some instability in that area because of the abuse. So it does require some patience We want to go for balance first, get rid of the tension. When you're in the bridge, stay with it, even though it might be a little light. Gee, 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 gee. Or gee, 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 gee. Gee, 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 gee. And even though that doesn't seem productive, it will lead to gee, 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 go, 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 mum, mum, mum. It'll lead to more strength and power. But it doesn't come by yelling it or forcing it. Don Carlson asks, what if your bridge is lower than E4? If you are down here with me, a basso cantata or profundo, you could be bridging at the A below middle C. But that's really for the true bass. And otherwise, the tenor baritones will bridge at the E. The contralto for females will bridge where the men do, at the E above middle C. Otherwise, most women, 90 to 95% of the voices out there will bridge at the A above middle C. Okay, I've got one more. I'm going to try and do one or two more, and then I've got a student coming in 12 minutes. So then I have to wrap this up. So, hi Cheryl. I don't know if I've said hi. I notice when I pull my chest voice up, it comes from the back of my throat and chokes it off. Yeah. Usually it has to do with because the larynx is also coming up, and if you put your hand on your Adam's apple and swallow, you can feel that larynx going up as you're going into swallowing mode, and it just chokes everything off. If you hum while you're swallowing, and try and swallow while you're humming, guess what happens to the sound? Completely eliminates it. So can you demonstrate, Brywall says, asks, can you demonstrate this in a song where it goes from your chest into your mixed head voice, lyrics? It's so different than scales. Let me see if I said, so if I'm coming from chest, let me see. I can't remember what the key is, but the last note is an F in Beauty and the Beast. Let the world be done. Let me see. No pain could be deeper, no. Let the world be done with. See, I'm not sure it's the right key, but I'll start this in chest. Let the world be done. Now I have to start going into mix here. Done. But if I say done, I'm toast. Done with me. So I'm too high. I'm a whole step higher than that. But on the way up, so Brywell, one suggestion is that you begin to narrow your vowels and begin to mix before you get to the bridge, on the approach to the bridge. That way, you're going to be ready to get there by the time you get into the bridge and above it. Okay, so one last question here from Jet Quinn. Am I singing in head or chest? I was singing yesterday around the A4 to F5, somewhere around there, but it did not feel like I was straining at all, and that it was not pleasant to the ear, and the pitch suffered, and the pitch. But it was not that pleasant to the ear, and the pitch suffered terribly. Yes, you were pulling chest. Because those are the first two things that happen. When we pull our chest, the pitch suffers, and it isn't pleasant to the ear. I'm only guessing because I'm not hearing you, but that's a very strong indication that you were pulling the chest voice. So, thank you for joining me today. I hope that in summary, the thing that really will demystify the voice is understanding the bridge and knowing it's there, knowing it's possible to negotiate it successfully, knowing your vocal type, what you tend to do when you go through the bridge, and knowing the exercises that you need to use to counteract what we tend to do, when we're doing that. So thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing. You can sing higher with beauty, confidence, and power. I'll see you inside the next video. Thanks. All the best to you today. Happy Halloween.